Imagine this, you're walking home just minding your business. It's pouring rain, and you're soaked, tired. Then, a black luxury car deliberately swerves toward the biggest puddle on the road. A tidal wave of filthy, brown water and mud explodes over you. It soaks you completely. Your groceries are ruined. Your dignity, gone. But the worst part? The window rolls down. And the man behind the wheel, the man laughing hysterically, is your ex-husband. The billionaire who promised to love you, now humiliating you in public. Can you feel that instant, burning disrespect? Being treated like trash on the street by a man who thinks he's untouchable. He drove off laughing, leaving you dripping and humiliated. But he made one monumental mistake. He didn't know that the woman he just covered in mud and oil was no longer just his ex-wife, Emma Clark. She was now Emma Sterling, married into the family that holds his entire multi-million-pound business in the palm of its hand. What happened next wasn't just karma. It was a public execution of a billionaire's career, and it all played out live on national television. This is the story of how the man who splashed mud ended up begging for forgiveness on the BBC. Before the Bentley and the mud, there was a marriage. Her name was Emma Clark. She was a kind, hard-working primary school teacher. He was Richard Blackwell, a billionaire property developer and CEO of Blackwell Estates, a massive company that owned half the shopping centers and skyscrapers in London. For 5 years, Richard treated Emma terribly. He didn't see a wife. He saw a simple accessory. He would mock her job in front of his wealthy friends. You make what? 30,000 pounds? I spend that on a single watch. He'd introduce her at parties with a sneer. This is my simple wife, Emma. She teaches children. The message was clear. You are beneath me. Finally, Emma had enough. She filed for divorce. Richard didn't fight it. He was smug. Good riddance, he told her. I need someone who actually matches my status anyway. She took nothing but her clothes. She didn't want his money. She just wanted her freedom. Emma moved into a small flat and focused on teaching, trying to heal from years of emotional abuse. Emma thought she was done with the world of wealth and power. Then fate stepped in. At a charity gala for underprivileged schools, a place Richard would never be caught dead, Emma met Alexander Sterling. He was the opposite of Richard. Quiet, genuinely kind, and deeply interested in her work. They talked for hours about education, not balance sheets. Alexander never mentioned his family, and Emma never asked. She was simply happy to be with a man who saw her heart, not her bank balance. 6 months into their dating, Alexander finally revealed the truth. My father is Lawrence Sterling, he said nervously. The Prime Minister. Emma was stunned. The Prime Minister? The most powerful man in the country. Alexander worried she would leave. But Emma looked him in the eye and said, It doesn't change anything, unless you're going to be weird about my job. Alexander smiled. I love that you're a teacher. It's real. It's meaningful. 3 months later, they were married in a small, private ceremony. The moment Emma Clark became Emma Sterling, wife of the Prime Minister's son, she became part of the most powerful family in Britain. But Emma never changed. She kept her small flat, she kept teaching, and she never flaunted her new status. She was humble, often going unrecognized without the formal gowns and makeup. This brings us back to that rainy Tuesday afternoon. Emma was walking home from the grocery store. Jeans, a raincoat, ponytail. She looked like any ordinary woman. She was crossing a quiet street when she heard the roar of an engine. A gleaming black Bentley, a car only a very rich man would own, sped straight toward a huge, murky puddle right next to the sidewalk. She froze. The car hit the water like a missile. Kaboom! A cold, filthy wave of mud, oil, and gutter water exploded, drenching her from head to toe. Emma stood there, dripping, shaking. The Bentley stopped. The window rolled down, and there was Richard Blackwell. He was grinning. Oh my God, Emma, is that really you? He shouted, laughing. He looked her up and down, soaked and covered in filth. Still shopping at budget places, huh? Some things never change. His young passenger snickered. Richard revved the engine. See you around, Emma. Oh wait, maybe not. You're not exactly in my circles anymore. He drove off, leaving Emma standing in the pouring rain, completely humiliated, her groceries floating in the street. Passers-by stared. One person was filming. Richard Blackwell had just committed the ultimate act of public scorn. Emma called Alexander. When the black, government-plated vehicle pulled up and Alexander saw his wife covered in mud, his face went stone cold. "Who did this?" he demanded. "My ex-husband," Emma whispered. "Richard Blackwell." Alexander's jaw clenched. "Get me everything on him. Now." That same evening, the video was everywhere. Someone had posted it online. Billionaire splashes mud on woman. It hit 10 million views overnight. The comments were brutal, calling Richard a disgusting bully. Then someone recognized her. "Wait, that's Emma Sterling, the Prime Minister's daughter-in-law." The story didn't just go viral. It exploded. Every major news outlet ran the headline, "Billionaire humiliates PM's daughter-in-law." Richard's life instantly became chaos. His lawyers, his PR team, his board members, they were all screaming into his phone. "Richard, do you understand what you've done? That's the Prime Minister's family." Richard was sweating. "I didn't know. She was a teacher. How was I supposed to know she married a Sterling?" "It doesn't matter," his lawyer hissed. "The video is everywhere. They want penance. Public penance." The next morning, the demand came from the Prime Minister's office. "Mr. Blackwell, you will appear on BBC News tonight at 8 p.m. You will publicly apologize to Mrs. Emma Sterling. This is not optional." Richard tried to release a statement. The answer was no. The family demanded a televised apology. That night, Richard Blackwell sat under the unforgiving lights of a BBC studio. He looked terrified. The host introduced him. "Mr. Blackwell is here to address the incident." Richard's voice shook. "I want to publicly apologize to Emma Sterling. I acted inappropriately and disrespectfully. I'm deeply sorry." The host pressed him. "Can you describe what you did?" Richard's face burned red. "I deliberately drove through a puddle to splash her with mud. It was cruel and wrong." "And you knew who she was?" the host asked, cornering him. "I knew she was my ex-wife," Richard stammered. "I didn't know she was married into the Prime Minister's family." Then came the killer question, the one that destroyed him. "Does that matter, Mr. Blackwell? Would it have been acceptable if she were just a teacher?" Richard had no answer. The interview was a disaster. Clips went viral within minutes. The whole world watched a powerful man crumble under the weight of his own cruelty. But the humiliation was just the beginning. The next morning, Richard's CFO called. "Richard, we have a catastrophic problem. The Cabinet Office just sent a letter. All of our government contracts are under immediate review for ethics violations." "What?" Richard shouted. "They're freezing everything," the CFO said. £340 million worth of contracts. Pending investigation. Richard tried to call his government contacts. No one answered. Within 48 hours, his company's stock dropped 24%. Investors panicked. The board held an emergency meeting. "Richard, you're a liability," his chairman stated plainly. "Your personal behavior has cost this company hundreds of millions. The board is voting to remove you as CEO." Richard had mocked Emma's £30,000 salary. In the end, his scorn cost him his £340 million empire and his entire career. Today, Emma Sterling continues to teach. She and Alexander now have their first child. She's beloved by the public as the teacher who became a princess but stayed humble, using her platform to start a foundation for underprivileged schools. The Bible says, "A man reaps what he sows." Richard sowed cruelty and scorn. He reaped destruction and public disgrace. Emma sowed humility and kindness. She reaped a kingdom. Remember this, stay humble. And when someone tries to humiliate you, let karma handle it. Sometimes, the person you think you can stomp on is actually connected to people who can absolutely destroy you. Richard Blackwell learned that the hard way. What would you have done in Emma's position? Let me know in the comments. And if this incredible story touched you, like, subscribe, and share. Stay blessed.